Hi, I'm Bill. We're at Super Chief Gallery LA. This month, we're killing the precedent. No, not the president. Killing the Precedent is the first ever art exhibition by the prolific activist art collective Indecline.
Indecline. Indecline.
Indecline.
Indecline.
Indecline.
Super Chief Gallery is not a normal art gallery. We've always strived to be authentically a gallery for the best subversive and underground artists. So it's a real honor to team up with a group as infamous as Indecline for their first ever art exhibition.
Super Chief is always doing things that I think are the most punk and have that, street art, graffiti, youthful energy. Support Super Chief.
So without further ado, let's get into it. In this episode, we're going to take you on a tour of the exhibition and learn about some of the artwork, get some context and history about Indecline, take you to the opening party, and join Indecline on some of their direct action missions in the real world.
Since 2001, Indecline has gained international fame for its provocative and politically charged works. Their mission is to engage audiences with a compelling critique of socio-political issues through a multifaceted array of artworks, often through public interventions, guerrilla installations, and performance art. Together with Super Chief Gallery, Indecline will unveil their first ever gallery show, Killing the Precedent, which is a full retrospective of their 20+ years of billboard liberation, guerrilla installations, performance art, as well as photography and video work. With origins in the world of graffiti and skateboarding, the artists found themselves politically awakened in the post-9/11 landscape and turned their efforts in graffiti towards work that could speak to issues that affect everyone and promote important causes. Known for their billboard liberation, performance stunts, sculpture, and video, Indecline and its members represent a melting pot of influences and often find themselves using the mainstream media as a tool to spread their messages. Indecline exists in a tradition of activist artists, clandestine collectives, and direct action groups throughout history. And like many before them, they operate in secrecy and protect their identities. The group draws influence and inspiration from the likes of the Billboard Liberation Front, Crass, ACT UP, the Situationist International, the Black Panthers, the Yes Men, the Cacophony Society, Voina, Up Against the Wall Motherfucker, and many more. Killing the Precedent is a full retrospective of Indecline's career as a collective. From their famous Trump statue prank, The Emperor Has No Balls, Ku Klux Klowns, and environmental installations like This Land Was Our Land and death metals, the exhibition covers all their past work and introduces some exciting new work as well. The timing of Killing the Precedent is no coincidence. In an era leading up to a US election that threatens to tear apart the country, Indecline's Killing the Precedent seeks to remind us of their fundamental mission. Fascism seeks to reduce its opposition to violence, since violence is the only real logic beyond propaganda that it wields effectively. Instead, we seek to replace terror with humor, intimidation with mischief, demagogues with their own image made into an inescapable parody. When you assassinate a tyrant, you are, best case, giving the justification they have been waiting for all along, as well as eliminating any illusion of a moral high ground. But when you make a tough guy look foolish enough, that's often all it takes to break the spell. Without fear, what even is a strong man? And without that high ground, what is a revolutionary? Don't ask Stalin, ask Marx. Groucho Marx.
Along the floor going into the exhibition, you've got Hollywood stars that have been repurposed to be the names of all the African Americans killed by police and CIA over the years. And as you follow those, they lead across the whole exhibition to the centerpiece, which is a huge guillotine where the blade is a stop sign that says cops and has blood on it. That piece is called Cooler Heads Don't Prevail. Because a lot of what Indecline does is done in public and to make a statement, a lot of the exhibition is documentation of their actions. So in this room we have essentially 3 different video projections going on, documenting a lot of their murals, their public performances, their guerrilla activist spectacles, billboard liberation, Here we've got one of their more conceptual projects called Freedom Kick. For Freedom Kick, they made like photorealistic silicone replicas of evil politicians' heads throughout history. They've got Otto von Bismarck's head here, along with photos of people playing soccer with it, Bolsonaro's head, and people playing soccer with it in Brazil, Putin's head, people playing soccer with that, as well as Trump's head. Throughout the exhibition, there's sculptures called the Ku Klux Clowns. Of course, the Ku Klux Klan was infamous for lynching African Americans throughout the Deep South. In an effort to make them look as bad as they are, they decided to lynch Klan members that are also clowns. This is all cut up, liberated vinyl from billboards. A lot of what Indecline does is climb up on billboards and glue things to it and alter the messages to subvert the message of a billboard to be something that makes people think about a political issue. So a lot of what's on this wall, including the Donald Trump toilet paper in front of the golden toilet, is vinyl that's actually taken from billboards and then brought in to make art pieces in the gallery. This jail cell installation is in reference to what I think was one of Indecline's coolest public interventions. For this one, they rented a room in the Trump Hotel in New York City. They took down all of the art in the room and all of the furniture out of the room, and then they dressed it up to look like a concrete room, and then they built a jail cell, put a Trump impersonator inside of it, and made a mess of McDonald's wrappers and released live rats and threw copies of Trump's book all over the ground. They put up these American flags with different freedom fighters and notable left-wing political figures in American history. Noam Chomsky, Angela Davis, Brother Cornel West, Edward Snowden, Leonard Peltier from the American Indian Movement, Hunter S. Thompson, Muhammad Ali, a bunch of people. Probably one of Indecline's most heavily publicized public interventions was the infamous Donald Trump with a micropenis statue. They put that out in public with no message except for "the emperor has no balls" right after Trump was elected. It got global headlines and really made people start talking about dangers that Trump posed to our society. Here are miniature replicas of some of Indecline's billboards throughout time. And then here is a collaborative project that we made with Andrew Callahan, who runs Channel 5 on YouTube, one of the most important journalists who gets people to actually have a dialogue about important political issues in this day and age. So we teamed up with him to create this confessional booth that harkens back to his origins as a journalist, as a citizen journalist on the streets, where he would ask people to confess their darkest secrets, their deepest secrets to the camera. So for the installation, we made a Catholic-style confession booth that people can graffiti on the walls and come in here and confess to this priest. And the priest's head is removed, and he's just an old-school broadcast TV camera with a microphone here to listen to you and broadcast your confessions to a wide audience on the internet. This is an Indecline collaborative project with an artist named Ilma Gore. She did this series of paintings with all human blood. Pretty impressive. It's an old Betsy Ross picture painted with blood from members of Indecline. Here we've got a Rail Beast, another one of Aware's Aware and Indecline's super ambitious graffiti projects. They painted the locomotive of a freight train to look like a huge tiger. Here we have some of Indecline's Antifa Smurfs, anti-fascist Smurfs. These are artifacts from a mission that they did in the Deep South. Basically, they found a really old man selling a lot of borderline racist and Confederate memorabilia, antique store down there. So they pretended to befriend him, offered to fix his mural, and then when they got the chance to fix his mural, they decided to write "Respect expect existence or expect resistance, and make it a whole little Smurfs vignette here against racism. You can find out more about that one in Indecline's film about all their exploits in the deep Republican South called Side Hustles. Throughout the show, there's a ton of art on American flags that speak to a variety of different topics and causes. I am a pretty big fan of this one, the twist on the ISIS flag that says "Meth to America, Big Pharma Kills," taking a jab at perhaps the Adderall industry. Let's see, we've got death to white supremacy. Here we've got a bunch of photos from one of Indecline's most ambitious graffiti street art project called Death Metals. This one was spearheaded by Indecline's member Aware, who unfortunately is now deceased. Aware was a legend of graffiti, especially out in the desert, and doing super innovative stuff like this metal cutter piece on an abandoned building that has since become a very popular roadside attraction. Also, this piece called the Wheel of Misfortune, that's like a parody Wheel of Fortune wheel on this huge old Superfund contaminated site. Instead of fortune, it's a wheel where every dollar value is zero. And it's all about how capitalism destroys instead of rewards. Another amazing project spearheaded by Aware. This one is, I believe, the world's largest piece of graffiti of all time. You've got it compared to a few of LA's largest right here. Right here you've got 1997 Saber's LA River solo piece, 2007 MTA crew piece, and then you've got 2015 Indecline's This Land Was Our Land runway graffiti. Some aerial shots of what that looks like from above and on the greater landscape. This sculpture pertains to commentary about the Second Amendment and guns in America. This sculpture is made of guns and gun parts, 100% completely made of guns and gun parts. It looks like that classic sculpture, The Thinker, I believe is what that's called. The first time this has ever been on display in public. So no one ever saw this outside of photos on the internet before this exhibition. And that is all real guns, and the sculpture is super heavy. This is a tribute to Aware. He was one of Indecline's most important and prolific members over the years, and unfortunately he passed away. So this is our tribute to Aware and a lot of his career as a graffiti artist. Opening night of Indecline's Killing the Precedent was phenomenal. I think around 1,000 people came throughout the night, and the show was looking great. Channel 5's confessional booth was a real hit. I can't wait to see the footage from that. We had Buddy Head DJing. Shout out to Buddy Head. He was great, DJing vinyl all night. People were having a great time, and the night was livened up by a couple of performances by Indecline. We had a lot of Super Chief fam through the door. Andrew Callahan was there. John Law from the Cacophony Society was there. Indecline dragged in a uniformed police officer and surprised everybody, drug him through the crowd, and then posted him up in front of the guillotine with the Stop Cops sign. And then throughout the night, guests to the show were able to take pictures and have fun with the cop, and even put stickers on him and tag him, and it was a real hit with everybody. I think Indecline's message reached a lot of new people through the show and through the course of the exhibition and the party. A lot of people had never heard about Indecline before and learned a lot about the concept of political artwork and how to make political artwork that resonates with the public. I would say it was a mission accomplished for Indecline. I think they communicated their points well. They made an impact on a lot of new viewers as well as old fans, and I think everybody was pretty impressed with the show, including Shepard Fairey, who was nice enough to show up for the opening party. And that's tough for famous people because they get swarmed by fans, but shout out Shepard for coming.
Don't elect presidents. Don't need lobbyists. Don't put signs in empty lots. Don't fit neatly into 20-second spots. Don't write policy guides. Don't canvass neighborhoods. Don't fund wars with your taxes. Don't fight the latest raise to teachers. Don't put more asses in the bleachers. Don't speculate on the petrodollar. Don't start conspiracy podcasts. Don't let veterans live on the streets.
We're here at Super Chief Gallery for Indecline's first opening with
Shepard Fairey.
And what brings you here?
I'm here because I'm a big fan of what Indecline does. I think that they're probably doing the most radical billboard liberations of anybody in the U.S. right now. The stuff is smart. It's very courageous. They take major risks, and I think it shows people that things can happen bottom up, not just top down.
Right. And the first time I saw his work was going to Vegas. Do you know the first time you saw his work?
Vegas, because I used to bomb Vegas a lot.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I was out there putting my posters, and I was like, oh, the devil with a briefcase, it's everywhere. So yeah, there were.
And any final words for the people out there about the gallery, about the community?
Well, Super Chief is always doing things that I think are the most punk and have that, street art, graffiti, youthful energy. So it's great that that work has a home. So support Super Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. Appreciate you. All right, man. And we're here at Indecline's first ever art exhibition. And what brings you here, sir?
Indecline brought me here. I seen the documentary, got the books, got a bunch of merch. So when I seen that they're having a art show, I was like, I gotta be there.
What do you enjoy so far?
I mean, just the whole getting to see some of the stuff in person, like the second thought, and some of the other things. It's just really dope to actually see it in real life.
Empowering.
Yeah, and so very a rude awakening. It's it's right in front of your face. You're like, damn, but it's good. Because we have to be knowledgeable and we got to be aware.
Yeah, makes you want to go out and vote and or burn something.
You definitely burn something. Fuck the bullshit, yo.
Where are we, sir?
We're at Super Chief Gallery, and I appreciate Super Chief Gallery hosting Indecline's show. But overall, I didn't even know where I was coming. I knew the address and I knew whose show it was. But I do appreciate,
and we appreciate you shining. You're shining on the bling, on everything, and it's the aura as well. Your aura is nice.
Appreciate it. It's a dope show, man. One thing about the show is, everybody in here is for the cause. You actually know that you're here with people that's fighting against the grain. There's no unfamiliarity.
Any final words for the people watching this, for the gallery?
Hey, you guys need to go check out Sidewalk Project, and remember, don't walk past the person that you see on the sidewalk. Ask who they are. Check them out.
We're a lived experience harm reduction organization, and we've brought some Narcan and test strips and education so that people have access, because we don't want any of our community to die.
Absolutely. That's incredible. So and this is all, how does this work? It's donations, it's a nonprofit, how does?
100%, yeah, absolutely everything is free because we want people to have easy access so that they can save their own lives, save lives of their community. So yeah, there's no cost for anything.
Wow, that's awesome. And where can we find more about it? Or where can we look up?
Sure, you can look us up. We're the Sidewalk Project, and you can find us thesidewalkproject.org.
Awesome. Any final words for the camera?
No, I think this is just an amazing night, so thank you.
This is incredible. Thank you so much. What brings you here?
Well, Channel 5 promoted it, and I had a couple friends that had worked here before, so I had to check it out.
That's great, dude. And how are you liking it so far?
It's pretty sick. I really like that Trump statue. That shit was hilarious. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
It's funny. Yeah.
So humor unites us all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what brings you here?
I was invited by my friend who he specializes in spray painting. I think they really tapped in with the culture, for sure.
And you like the culture?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what brings you here, Felipe?
Just came to check it out. I just saw that Channel 5 post.
Have you checked out the confession booth at all? Have you confessed anything?
Not yet. I'm looking forward to, though.
We are in Los Angeles, planet Earth,
Awesome. Here in Los Angeles, planet Earth, and enjoying the
Indecline exhibit.
Yeah. Right, and this is his first ever one. I mean, he's a legend, as many know.
I didn't know it's the first.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite piece?
Wow. This land was our land, and I'm not sure if that's actually by Indecline. Is this all by him, or do you know?
I want to say yes. Do you often like being next to guillotine?
I mean, every time I've been near a guillotine, it's been cool.
Nice. And does this show make you think about the revolution?
It really does, because the thing is, like, what happened when Trump first got elected is, I said this message, like, I was like, whatever we were doing, making art, it didn't work. You know, like 100 years of dissident art resulted in a populace that still votes for the worst person you could conceive of from our point of view. But on the other hand, you are planting a seed every time you paint a building. You're saying, look, they can't control us that much because someone managed to paint this building. You know, every time you take one thing off, like off a head off a statue, and you put a new one on, you go, there was no cop watching when this happened. And so just leaving public reminders around that can be done is really important, because once those go away, people are even more afraid of any kind of real dissent. Like, yeah. And you go to other countries where that's less true and you see it, and where it's more true and you see it. You can see when shit is locked down, and you can see when shit is wide open, and you can see the amount of control. So I think it's an important indicator of how much freedom you have. You can't have just an art world that consists only of the creative people and the class who buys art. You also have to have an audience of real engaged people who aren't the people who can afford art. Like, without art students who look at art, and like people who are not necessarily the collecting class who look at art, there's no discourse, and none of this is real. You know, like the idea that something's sending a message and the only person getting the message is the person who bought it is ridiculous. So you need a class of people who are engaged with art but aren't the same fucking people all the time. So I've always been a big fan of the crazy Super Chief parties.
There's great art. There's people that you could talk to and get inspired by and be like, wow, I can't believe I met this random person at Super Chief. Yada, yada.
If your art only functions in front of people who know all the context, it's not functioning. Right? That is not art. That's a visual aid for your manifesto. All kinds of people should be at your show.
And we're here at Super Chief motherfucking Gallery! And what brings you here, sir?
I like coming here quite often because the art is fly and the people are somewhat sick for the most part. And I saw Channel 5 posted today. I was going to come here probably regardless if there was shit going on today, but fucking more bang for your buck, I guess. I don't fucking know, yeah.
Yeah, man, we're banging, we're bucking, we're trucking.
We're knucking if we buck. I buck regularly, so I'm knucking straight up.
Okay, do you have a favorite piece here so far?
Dude, honestly, I keep ending up at the War and the Wealth right here. I don't know, this Wealth one is just hella heavy, you know? Yeah. Fucking in the truth and everything, just the little details of this wall, I keep getting attracted to it.
Heck yeah, dude. And final thoughts, any last words for the gallery, for the people?
I love Super Chief, I love LA! Keep fucking coming through! Donate to the Super Chief Patreon! Stop fucking playing! Support small artists and shit! Just suck a motherfucking dick!
Are you familiar with Indecline?
Yeah.
Where did you first see his stuff?
I think it was back when they were working in New Mexico to do the sculpture with all the guns, and they collected those actually from New Mexico. So they met friends of friends, and then we met through that, and eventually, like, that was like our origin story. So seeing that sculpture here is really nice because it's kind of seeing the reason why we met, and it's a really important piece.
We're here with
Nikki.
Caleb.
Henry Sugar.
And what brings you here?
Super Chief. All things Super Chief forever, baby.
Had to see some art when you're in LA.
Yeah, just the vibes.
It's rad as fuck.
So far, it's been pretty cool.
One of the best shows ever. And I can't wait for the movie to come out.
Beautiful. We're out.
Immediately after the art opening, Indecline got right back to work doing what they're known for, using direct action in public to get media attention, and this time they wound up in the Los Angeles Times. They projected a series of graphic videos onto several symbolic local buildings, including the ArcLight Cinema off Sunset Boulevard, calling attention to the humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. Titled "For Your Consideration, Ceasefire," the guerrilla protest also lit up the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures on Wilshire and the Pickford Center for Motion Picture Study on Vine Street. Indecline wasn't finished getting mainstream media attention for their exhibition just yet. With the Freedom Kick event at the gallery, guests were invited to play soccer with Donald Trump's head inside the gallery. TMZ ran the article and the sensationalist headline, "Donald Trump, Heads Will Roll," after former Prez's mug used as soccer ball. And just like that, the prankster culture meets activism feedback loop that Indecline has perfected over the decades was once again working like a charm. Besides the media spectacle, everyone seemed to have a really good time playing soccer with the silicone Trump head. That same night, we hosted our friend Andrew Callahan, the independent journalist behind Channel 5, for a book release. Channel 5 fans flocked to buy copies of All Gas, No Brakes, Andrew's book of hitchhiking and traveling stories, which would inspire the title of his first journalistic YouTube show. All Gas, No Brakes and Channel 5, whether you love it or hate it, is in my opinion one of the most important independent journalistic outlets of the social media era. As newspapers, magazines, and TV stations dry up as a result of outdated business models, Andrew has broken new ground and inspired an entire movement of independent citizen journalists and provoked real and empathetic discussions from all sides of the political spectrum. One thing I love to do on this channel is give a little bit of a deep dive on the history and traditions of the art that got us to where we are now. Politics can be confusing enough these days, to say the least. And to say art and culture are a little weird these days would be quite an understatement. Throughout history, artists have experimented with ways to use their perspectives to challenge the establishment and change the world in direct ways. Indecline exists as a modern example in the tradition of these activist art groups. Tracing roots back to the Dadaists of the First World War like Marcel Duchamp, Tristan Tzara, and Hugo Ball, anti-establishment art of the early 20th century emerged as a response to the horrors of World War I. This generation of artists were appalled by a society that could rationalize such an unprecedented level of destruction. So these artists employed unconventional methods and techniques, making artwork that defied logic, using performance art, and served as a critique of bourgeois society and art world norms. Many Dadaists believed that the reason and logic of bourgeois capitalist society had led people into war. They expressed their rejection of that ideology in artistic expression that appeared to reject logic and embrace chaos and irrationality. For example, George Gratz later recalled that his Dadaist art was intended as a protest against this world of mutual destruction. According to Hans Richter, Dada was not art, it was anti-art. Dada represented the opposite of everything which art stood for. Where art was concerned with traditional aesthetics, Dada ignored aesthetics. If art was to appeal to sensibilities, Dada was intended to offend. The rejection of conventional logic, combined with an emphasis on absurdity and a critique of bourgeois society, would go on to create movements in art such as surrealism and have a profound impact on the course of art and society for the rest of the century. These revolutionary artists would influence a wide swath of art collectives around the world throughout the next 100 years and eventually bring us modern expressions of these sentiments through groups like Indecline. As the world continued to change over the decades and art continued to evolve, countercultural art collectives and direct action groups continued to pop up and experiment with different ways to create subversive art. Here's a quick top 10 of some of Indecline's closest modern influences and kindred spirits. The Situationists International, a group of avant-garde artists and theorists who critiqued consumerism and promoted the idea of psychogeography and spectacle, advocating for revolutionary practices in everyday life. In 1968, the Situationist work contributed to 7 weeks of occupations and demonstrations led by students and workers in Paris, leading to a complete halt of the French economy. These trailblazing anarchists would lay the groundwork for modern critiques of art and our society of the spectacle. The Merry Pranksters. Led by Ken Kesey, this collective was known for their colorful bus trips and promotion of LSD as a means of expanding consciousness, embodying the countercultural spirit of the 1960s. Ben Morea and Black Mask, an anarchist collective that created a variety of artistic interventions and performances promoting anti-establishment views and social change through art. This American anarchist group was way ahead of its time and coined the phrase, "Wall Street is War Street." The group referred to itself not as an art collective, but as a street gang with analysis, and would perform direct actions like cutting holes in the fence at Woodstock and even disrupting and shutting down the MoMA. Crass, an anarcho-punk band that combined music with activism, promoting anti-authoritarian messages and DIY ethics, influencing both punk culture and the broader countercultural movements. ACT UP. The AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power is known for its direct action and theatrical protests to raise awareness about the AIDS crisis, blending activism with performance art. The Cacophony Society, a group focused on subverting everyday life through surreal and absurd practices. They laid the groundwork for events like Burning Man and were influential in prankster culture. Project Mayhem from the movie Fight Club is actually based on the Cacophony Society, and Chuck Palahniuk was at one time a member. The Zapatistas, a revolutionary group based in Chiapas, Mexico, emerged in the 1990s with a focus on indigenous rights, land reform, and anti-globalization. The Zapatistas inspired a worldwide network of solidarity movements, contributing to the broader anti-capitalist and social justice campaigns around the world. The movement emphasized indigenous culture and languages, fostering a sense of identity and pride among local populations. Voina, a Russian activist art group known for provocative public actions and performances that critique the political system, often with a focus on absurdity and shock value. Pussy Riot, a feminist punk collective known for their guerrilla performances that critique the Russian government and advocate for LGBTQ rights using art as a form of political protest. Ai Weiwei, a Chinese artist and activist whose work often critiques the government and social injustices, blending art with activism to address issues like freedom of expression and human rights. He faces such intense surveillance from the Chinese government that he often doesn't attend his own art openings. If you'd like to learn more about Indecline from the source, check out their books, Side Hustles, Killing the Precedent, their new book on billboard liberation, Control, Alter, Delete, and this book in tribute to deceased Indecline member Aware, Aware Forever. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support Super Chief Gallery and Indecline and the unique and innovative programming that we do here at Super Chief, please consider buying some of the beautiful merch and books available from Indecline. We've got riot sticks, skateboards, books, bandanas, t-shirts. We made a special edition limited shirt just for Killing the Precedent, featuring the Antifa Smurfs beating up the Monopoly Man and the Smurfette with the bolt cutters, Indecline and Super Chief collab on the back. And we ask that you please consider supporting Super Chief Gallery on Patreon to fund the ambitious work that we do here at the gallery. We will continue bringing you shows that are about the quality of the art and not the commercial viability of the artwork itself, which will enable us to keep doing important work rather than just doing things that are marketable or just appeasing rich people like almost every other art gallery in the entire world. So if you see value in what we do and want to help us maintain our space and pay our staff and keep making video content to share with the rest of the world, please consider checking out our Patreon and becoming a supporter, you'll get free gifts as well as bonus content and sneak peeks, and we thank you for your time and contributions.
Fucking coming through, donate to the Super Chief Patreon, stop fucking playing, support small artists and shit, and suck a motherfucking dick.